So today's the day, 1 year post-op for my jaw surgery, and I couldn't be happier. I can't believe how fast time has gone by, and that 1 year ago my life changed forever. And I am almost a year of my braces being off as well, and I am so happy because about almost 2.5 years ago, I wouldn't have guessed that this is how my life would have gone. And every day I'm just so thankful that I was able to get the surgery and I had this experience, even though it wasn't easy by far. It was one of the hardest things that I've had to go through. But I wouldn't go back and change anything because it changed my life, and I'm just the happiest as can be, and I know that everything is the way it was supposed to be. I kind of want to share a little bit about the experience and how it changed my life and how I got through it. So I got my braces on. When was it? It was. I think it was April of 2016, and I went in just kind of not really knowing that I was going to get my braces on, but I just wanted to get a consult, and I ended up getting my braces on that day. And we talked about getting jaw surgery because my bite was so bad that braces couldn't fix it because I had an open bite. So this is how I bite down now. But before my jaw surgery, there was an opening between my top and bottom teeth, and I couldn't bite down on things with my front teeth, and only my back molars touched. And so it was really difficult to eat and sometimes talk and to be able to also sleep because of that problem, because my jaw was so out of place, I would say, that my breathing would be kind of bad as well. And it just kind of, that's what I knew, that's what I grew up knowing, and I kind of just lived with it. But I knew that I needed to make a change because it was affecting my health, and I couldn't afford that anymore, and it was not good for me. So we talked about an orthodontist, and we decided that we would get my braces on, and we would get my teeth as straight as possible to where I would need to get my jaws aligned. And I was going to go to a surgeon here in St. George, but he ended up being too expensive. I mean, it didn't go through insurance when you first go to them. They go through insurance when you, after the surgery, and that's not what I wanted because I couldn't afford it. And so I kind of was bummed out, and I didn't really know what to do. I was kind of discouraged because, I mean, we've been talking about this surgery from the beginning, and I was kind of looking forward to getting this. And so I went after the surgeon. I was getting my teeth aligned for months and months, and he never mentioned this all that time. When I found out, I was really heartbroken, and I didn't know what to do. So I talked to a few people, and I went back to talk to my orthodontist, and he suggested a guy that he worked with up in Spanish Fork. So I gave a call, and we made an appointment so I can go see him. I think it was a couple weeks later, and I went up, and it was amazing. He was so nice. He was just the perfect person I could have gone to for this. And he kind of worked with me being in St. George and him in Spanish Fork. So, and I made the commitment to drive up whenever I needed an appointment to go see him. And I went up probably a handful of times before my surgery. And this was months. I don't really know how long it was, but it was a while until I went and had my surgery. And I went up, and we scheduled my surgery for September 18th of 2017. And he told me I had to come up, I think, 2 weeks for my surgery to get some scans done and some more molds and everything. So we set the date for September 18th, and I went up to Richfield with my friend the day before my surgery because I didn't want to drive all that morning because it was pretty early. It was supposed to be early in the morning, but it didn't turn out to be until a little later. But we stayed in Richfield, and then the next day we left. And I got to the hospital, and I was probably sitting in the waiting room, with my friend for about probably an hour or so before my surgery. And I got he came and talked to me, and he made sure that I felt okay and that I felt calm and I was reassured. And I got pulled into surgery, and it took about 45 minutes to an hour to do, but usually it takes a while. But he had all my scans ready and all my molds ready, and it took about an hour. I come out in recovery in the ICU, and I got in the ICU for probably about an hour or so, and I got taken to my own room. And oh my gosh, when I woke up, you cannot believe the. I knew what I was getting into, but you don't really understand until it actually happens. My teeth were closed shut, and they weren't wired shut. They had bands, and they were banded shut, so I couldn't breathe through my mouth. I couldn't talk. It was really hard, and I couldn't do anything because my teeth were closed shut. And so they gave me a paper to write down whenever I needed to, and it was hilarious. The first night I was there, I was really loopy, like in and out. And when I would write, I'd write like sideways, and also I would like not write clearly. And so my friend and the doctor, the nurses would try to like understand me, but like they couldn't. And then I spent the night in the hospital, and the next day my oral surgeon came and checked on me to see how I was feeling, to see if I was able to go home, and to see how well I was recovering. And to his expectance, I was already like talking and awake, and I was feeling good. I didn't feel any pain. Like you would think this big of a surgery, you'd feel a lot of pain, but no. I felt discomfort. I mean, I was really tired and groggy, but I didn't feel any pain, which was amazing. And so I got the okay to go home, and so I stayed in Layton with my aunt and uncle for about 3 weeks. That way I was close to him for my checkups, because I had to go for a checkup once a week for 3 or 4 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. And it was in Salt Lake. But when I got back to my aunt and uncle's, that I did not expect, and I was so not ready for the experience I was about to have of my recovery. I slept a lot the first few days because that's all I could do, and I was really tired. And they gave me a syringe. I had to eat with a syringe a syringe, and then they give you a long tube that like you go in the back of your mouth, and it like you push it and it goes like in the back. And I had to use that for the first week and a half. Oh my gosh. It was so hard because you can only eat liquids, and it's just like you mentally aren't prepared for that, and when you have to do that, it's really hard for you to cope with and to get through it. And so I just kind of pushed through it, and my family and friends were there for me to help me through it. And oh, the medicine they give you, disgusting. I dreaded getting it. And the medicine they had to take for my antibiotic was by far the worst. I actually refused to take it after about 3 or 4 days. I would not take it because it was so gross. I like started crying, and my aunt had to call my oral surgeon, and he was like, "It's fine. Like she had a big dose before the surgery, and she's been taking it since. Like she should be fine." I was like, "Hallelujah! I'm not taking that anymore." But there were some times where I was really down, and I got really discouraged because it takes a toll on you, and it's really hard to cope with. And so I was really thankful for my YSA award for helping me get through it, and for being there for me and teaching me all the things that I need to know about being patient and how anything you can get through. And they all wrote me some notes, and they came down. A couple of them came down and gave them to me in person, and it was the most amazing thing that they did for me. And after about a week and a half, I got back with my surgeon, and he took my bands off. And if like any of you have had jaw surgery, you know the feeling. My jaw, like bottom jaw, just dropped, and I had no control over it because I had to retrain my mouth and my jaw to eat, talk, and like do anything. And he took them off, and he told me I could take them off 3 times a day for about 2 hours at a time. That way, my jaw would have. I had exercises. I had to open it for like 30 seconds, and also so I could talk, and that I could like do everything, even yawning and all that stuff, kind of helped stretch it and help it get back to where it was. And it hurt. It was hard. Like little by little, I could open my mouth, and it was really hard. But as I saw the progression, it was the most amazing thing ever because when you have to reteach yourself to do something, you can see how you do it and of how much strength you have in yourself. And when you take that thing for granted, it's like a really an eye opener because we do take everything for granted. Like we can speak, eat, hear, like all that stuff. And when I was teaching myself how to do this, it was really hard. Like I cried because it was so hard on me physically, emotionally. And I had a couple experiences where I would pray and I would get the answer and the comfort, and it just made my testimony so much stronger. And I know that I worked really hard to get better, and I focused on getting better and took care of myself for the most part. I did a couple of dumb things. Like I got tired really quickly. I went and saw one of my friends and had ice cream and stuff. And I probably shouldn't have done that because the next day I was dead. Like I would felt so sick, and it just you don't realize how much it takes out of you when you think you feel good, but your body is still healing. But I took my bands off a couple times a day for about this was for a few months, but I was still up north for a couple more weeks, and I would go see him. My neck was bruised. It was yellow. My cheeks were bruised. My chest was bruised, and my whole what side was it? I think it was this whole side was numb. Like half my face was numb, and this side was not. And it was really weird because when food would fall, I wouldn't feel anything. And it was also weird because one side wasn't and one side was, and so I'd feel both sides. And slowly, the feeling would come back. And usually they say you usually don't get 100. The most part, you don't get 100% feeling back, but I did, and I was very grateful. And I would go see my oral surgeon, and he would see how much progress I was making, and he was just amazed. And I was amazed because I didn't expect me to heal as quick as I did. Usually, you don't heal all the way for a long time, and within just a few months, I was back to 100%. And after the 3 weeks, I was sent home, and I didn't have to go back to see my surgeon for, I think it was every 2 weeks after that for a few more times. And every time I would just open wider, and I was doing so much better. My feeling was getting back, and I think it was by my last appointment. Can't remember how long it was, but for my surgery to my last appointment. But I went in, and I was opening a lot more than people at that time that had the surgery, and so I was progressing a lot faster than they were. And also with my bruising and my numbness was all the way back. My feeling was back all the way, and I just felt amazing. Like just in a short few months, I was back to 100%, and he was so surprised because that's not rare. Like I mean, it's rare because people usually take a while to get back. And when I got home, he said I could start chewing soft foods and stuff. But man, if you ever had any surgery to do with your mouth, you know my pain. Because eating soft foods for months, no. It is so hard to do. You just go crazy. And that's exactly what I did. I just started eating food that was not necessarily hard, but I wasn't supposed to chew, but I did on the backs of my teeth because I just couldn't handle not chewing. And I know that was bad. I don't think I even told my surgeon that. But I would get food and I would stick it in the back and just chew a little bit and then swallow it. I got really good at swallowing things whole. Like pizza, I would take a few like little bites and then chew it. And then what else was there? There was just a bunch of things that I got good at swallowing whole. And I probably shouldn't have done that, but you understand if you've been in my situation. But I was able to start chewing, actual chewing after my last appointment. And oh, it was in November of last year, when before my sister's wedding. I got the okay to start chewing like food, like eat anything, but take it slow, like what I can handle, not go straight to like hard things. And so I literally walked out of the office and I started bawling because it had been months since I was able to chew whatever I wanted and to be able to have the freedom, and I was fully recovered, and it was just the most like moment, like amazing moment of that recovery. And I was just so happy, and I was so grateful for all the people who have been there for me and who have supported me through that surgery. And it literally has changed my life forever. I have more confidence than I ever had before my surgery. And I know that my Heavenly Father was definitely there for me through that whole experience. And I would not go back and change it. Even though the recovery was very hard and it was very draining and very emotionally draining, I would not go back and change it. Because if I didn't get the surgery, I wouldn't be who I am if I right now if I didn't. And if I didn't get my braces, if it wasn't for my amazing orthodontist and my amazing surgeon, I would still be the shy girl, and I wouldn't come out of my shell, and I wouldn't feel the way I do. I feel amazing because I have such a great smile and a jaw and a bite that make it easy to do things, and I am just beyond grateful. And I'm just so happy that today it marks the 1 year post-op recovery, and I couldn't not do a video or a post because it means that much to me. And one of my friends got the same surgery as I did, and so we have been able to talk about it together and kind of compare our experiences. And they were quite a bit the same because she also had double jaw surgery, and it's been cool to share that experience with her because I didn't think I would be able to share it with someone. And I just want to just say that thank you to all those who have supported me through everything and who were there for me for my surgery and through that recovery. And I wouldn't be here without you. And my life will definitely change forever, and I'm just so grateful. And I hope you guys enjoyed that.